So this is called how to protect your law firm and prevent your worst nightmare. Okay. All of these will hopefully prevent you from having a really bad day or a bad week. So before we get to the solution, let's first answer what are the threats to a law firm. It's very good to be cognizant of what could go wrong, and then we'll get to what to do about it second. But one is your current or past employees or your virtual assistants can sabotage you, usually accidentally, but sometimes intentionally. And well, what can we do about that? That's the first thing we want to make sure that we don't let it happen. Second is getting hacked by a hacker or someone holding your files hostage for ransom. This happens more frequently than you think. This has happened to my mentor twice. 2 Bitcoin ransom hacks that's happened. If there's anybody this has ever happened to, also please let me know in the chat so we could share about our experiences and what we learned from that process and what we could do better. Again, the more that we share little lessons, life lessons, then we could all learn from it. Third is accidents, water spills, drops, and fires. This is very relevant for me. I've had probably at least 3 or 4 water spills on my computer. I'm used to, at this point, used to it, what to do about that. Or theft. You leave your office door open or somebody comes in when not supposed to and steal something. Or forgetting your passwords. Well, what can we do about that? Or probably the most frequent one, clicking on unsafe links or opening dangerous email attachments. This is probably by far the most frequent. I'll try to share some examples for you guys. Or probably second most frequent is other things that are not even on this list, other unexpected threats that we're not even aware of. It could happen and we're not even aware that it happened. Yeah, while we're here, just let me know what, if any of these has happened to you. Just put in the chat. Again, we'll try to maybe have you guys come on and maybe share your experience with that and if there's anything that we learned from it. So these are the threats. Now, what can we do about it? All right, so this is meant to be a checklist. Again, the more of these you check off, the more you mitigate, the lower chances you have of things, the risks that could happen. Okay, so as much of these as possible is our goal. Number one that everybody needs to do, you need a password manager, whether you like it or not. Okay, so let's talk about password managers. There's a bunch of different options. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as it's one that you actually use. I used to use Dashlane, but that was glitchy, so I moved over to another one thing of the list somewhere. Let me just quickly pull out all the different options so we could talk about it, and maybe anybody has specific experiences they could share with us. But basically, there we go. But then I moved over to LastPass. Then actually, and now I use 1Password, and I could easily and confidently say that 1Password is by far the best. I'm super happy with it. I'm actually going to be moving this up. This has to be updated. Okay. I found Dashlane and LastPass to be glitchy. If you have it and it's working well for you, by all means, use it. But once I moved over to 1Password, it's been amazing. Super fast. It always works. It's super organized. It's super clean. I just love it. I don't know why. It's like into organization. It feels amazing to have such a good, clean tool.
Sam, I was going to ask, how difficult was it to move from LastPass to 1Password?
Very easy.
Very easy.
Yeah, migrate. And 1Password is very cognizant that a lot of people are moving from LastPass to 1Password. LastPass had a huge
hack. Yeah.
It had a huge hack, and people were like super upset. And 1Password is like in the front runner of like password managers. They jumped on it. They like made a lot of content about how to migrate from LastPass to 1Password right away. So if you just go on Google and you search migrate LastPass to 1Password, you'll find plenty of this is the video. It's very easy. Basically, they have like tools and you export things, and I remember doing it very swiftly.
Do you buy a seat for each of your team members, or how do you share generally, or is it free for like certain sharing?
So let's go through the subscriptions. So there's 2 types. So ideally, it would be basically this. The team and business, $20 a month. You have up to 10 people that you could share passwords with, basically. This is the option.
Okay.
Especially with the value proposition is pretty high. This is like worth thousands of dollars. Again, don't worry about the $20 or $10 or $10 or $20 or $60. It's the value is still, a lot. So now again, don't overthink these things. Mike also attests to 1Password. I've used it for many years. It's on every device. Exactly. You don't have to ever remember passwords anymore, or even on your phone. You have 1Password. Stacy says, we use LastPass. What is better at 1Password, please? It's just no glitches. It was very glitchy for me, LastPass personally. It's super fast. It always works. It's super organized. It's quick that I could search things. It just feels good. It just feels much better. I just love it. And it's very organized. Like you could categorize things. It's just really good. It also saves your other information like your passport and IDs and everything anytime. go traveling, you never have to like worry about, do I have these documents? I just have it there, and anytime I could always access it. And Mike says a good point. That's $20-$40 per year for basically insurance that your team is using strong passwords. Exactly. What is the best for Mac OS? Yeah, this for sure. I'm on Mac OS, and I think most of us are on Macs. Actually, I might have to do a poll to see what percentage of us are on Mac versus Windows. Cool. So yeah, don't overthink it. Get on Password Manager. Again, the reason is, one is actually the second point is when you don't have a Password Manager, you're at the mercy of remembering it. Because you're at the mercy of remembering it, you always use the same password, which you should never do. The reason is that's a dependency. If somebody hacks or something happens to one platform, then they could potentially hack into other platforms, which is horrible. So ideally, you always want to use unique, strong passwords. And it does make a difference about how strong it is, by the way. If you use just like a common word, that's a lot more hackable than a random generic character number kind of password. Have that in mind. And ideally, you use unique passwords across different platforms because it's all saved. You don't have to worry about whether this is what the password is. You just make the strongest one, or the one password has a feature that says, create me a password. It just makes you this obscure password. It saves it for you. You don't have to worry about memorizing it. That's the one benefit. And second is you have to share passwords securely. You just give access to your team, etc. Yes.
If I can throw out one tip here for your master password for 1Password, look up Diceware. And basically the concept is that human beings cannot make a random password. We don't have that capability. We think in patterns. Diceware, W-R-E, is a method for coming up with totally random passwords that are generated by rolling dice. You make that your master password. It should have 16 characters. And then every password that you use is a randomly generated by 1Password. And that way you've got 1Password that controls everything, and it's completely random. And it takes a minute to memorize it, but you'll memorize it, and then you don't have to remember any other passwords.
It's crazy. Nice. Okay. That's a must for everybody. This is just one of those things you have to do. Just get on a password manager. Don't overthink it. Be married to an actuary who has a random number generator. Michelle says, amazing. Next thing is, again, I put this in a word in affirmation on purpose to force you to do it, is I don't use the same password for different websites. Okay. Try to, from now on at least, don't use the same password for different websites. And if you already have the same password already, especially your most important accounts, which is by far your email is by far the most important because that's opens up access to a lot of different things. Second is your bank accounts. Make sure at least for those ones, you have a unique password. Need be, you haven't done it, circle it and put a date and time that when you're going to do it, or ideally just go change it up quickly today before you lose this inspiration. Other thing, again, I'll try to point out if it's really important to do it. Again, this is probably the important ones I put it up front for you, is turn on two-step authentication for your most important logins, and like especially Gmail. Two-step authentication just means you need to verify it besides just putting the password, but somewhere else you verify it. There's different forms of two-step authentication. The most common one is the text two-step authentication. It's not ideal because sometimes good hackers could call up your phone company and basically get access to your phone. Not ideal. So instead, you want to use an app as your two-step authentication. The most popular app for this is called Google Authenticator, but Google Authenticator is not ideal. I had to learn this the hard way because whenever you have Google Authenticator on your phone and you lose your phone or your phone goes swimming, when you get a new phone, you have to reset all your two-step authentications. Your Google Authenticator doesn't save your codes. So you have to start over, and it's a very messy process to go reset the two-step authentication. Super messy. So instead, there's an app, Authy, A-U-T-H-Y, the mobile app. That is what it looks like. It's a mobile app. You install it on your phone, and good part is it also has it as a desktop app. And this is basically the best two-step authenticator program that you can use. That's ideal. That's the most ideal versus a text two-step authentication. There are some websites that only have text two-step authentication. You have no choice, but ideally, if it gives you the option of doing it through like a program, then that's the ideal way.
So do you also have your VAs download this, or like how does that work when they're basically logging into your email and doing all these tasks and it's all on?
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, for my Gmail and my Facebook, I have a two-step authentication. That means the first time they log in, they have to go through me. I have to give them a code. Sometimes it's annoying and cumbersome, but it's definitely worth the extra benefit of being secure. Especially with Facebook, a bunch of people are managing my Facebook account. They have a way to just text me, to just say who they are, and I give them the code, and they have 30 seconds to enter the code to get in.
Every time they log in.
Not every time they log in. What I tell them to do is to have 2 different browsers. Let's just say browser is like this, you have Chrome, you have Safari, you have Firefox. So I would say just have a dedicated browser just for this, just for work, and then don't log out. Keep that open. So that's try to stay logged in. So it's not every day. They usually just stay logged in.
They're all using Chrome. As soon as they get brought on, they all have to start using.
Yeah. So you tell them use Chrome for work, and then maybe use something else for something else, other stuff eventually. Mike also brought up the point that I was going to bring up is Google Workspace. In Google Workspace admin, you can turn on a requirement for 2-factor for all your teams and schedule their passwords to expire after a certain number of days. Yes, Mike. Well, actually, that's one of the ones on the list too, which is required people. One is required people, which was brought up. And the second is resetting the password frequently, which we'll get there in a second as well. Let's go back to the list. Okay. The very least, turn on 2-step authentication for Gmail. Okay. And your bank account. Next is also a must. Everybody needs to have at least 1 backup, but even 2. Why 2? Because sometimes it may not back up for whatever reason. Some things just don't work, whatever. What I do myself is I use Backblaze, just a computer program. I just install it once, I sign up for the account, and in the background, it's automatically just backing up things without slowing down my internet. I don't notice whenever it's updating. It's always just, it basically backs it up in the background. So that's cheap, it's inexpensive. Again, it is all forms of insurance and different ways to make sure that it's $100 a month that I'm willing to spend, so that I don't have to spend $300,000 of lawsuits potentially done. But that's one that I use. And again, if anybody have any suggestions about backups, please let me know. The second one that I recommend is one called Backupify, which automatically backs up your entire Google Workspace or your entire Microsoft 365, which is really cool. You don't have to worry. Like, I don't worry at this point. My entire Google Workspace, all my Google Drive folders, all my Gmails, all my photos, everything inside of Google Workspace automatically backed up. And this doesn't matter. Even if you're on Microsoft 365, it also has that too. It's a little bit technical in the beginning to have some good resources, instructions. You basically have to go into Google Workspace and verify that, yeah, it's my accounts that I'm allowing Backupify to back up. But once you do that automatically, again, in the background, it's just doing its thing. I don't have to check on it or do anything at all. Yeah. It does not. Yeah, so whenever you have things on your Google Drive, that's just one layer. That's just one that's not a backup as much as I'm concerned. That is very risky. Yes, if people delete things, it's in your trash can for 30 days, I believe. But if something happens, they could go delete your trash can too. So again, you want to have a backup of the backup, ideally. This is where you want to be. Do you have thoughts on iDrive? No, not specifically. If anybody does, let me know. Google Workspace, I would say is for backup. Yeah, this seems reasonable. It seems very, just from seeing, it looks eerily familiar. I mean, very similar to this. So yeah, it looks pretty good. That might be one of the options in my little tools list. Let me just double check my Drive list. No, I don't have it to the list. So let me go. Boom. Yeah, sync.com, any of those. Yeah, and it gets the job done. Which one you use, as long as it does what it does, by all means. Michelle says is what our IT guy recommends. He works with a lot of companies that it gets hacked. Great. That's good to know. It's a very good option. And you know what? I'm going to put this up here. It's very good. Good. Sounds good, Michelle. Yeah, this is the comprehensive list. If you guys want the comprehensive list of stuff, I consolidated this list and I give you guys the tools list. I believe that's shared in module 2, or module 3. But this is the more comprehensive list. And this is something not to make a copy, to bookmark, because I'm always updating this. I guess use as a resource. Kind of like if I need to look at alternatives or different things, backup. Oh, let me search for backup. Oh, okay, backup option. So that's fun. Let's go down. Let's keep it going. This is a good one. I terminate access to work files for I terminate employees. That speaks for itself. Okay. Next is I disabled, again in an affirmation tone, I disabled, it forces you to go do it. I disabled automatic logins on work computers. Okay. You shouldn't, any of our employees' computers, they shouldn't be able to just get on it and just log in and do whatever. That's very risky. So make sure, again, if you haven't set the circle it today, walk up to the office and make sure you add a password for logging in. Don't make it universal. Again, you could potentially use your password manager to save those passwords. Make sure to save it. But yeah, don't allow people to just use a computer just by stepping up to it. And very practical stuff that I'm sharing with you is I lock office doors when no one is at the office. Some people are guilty of this. They just step out and like, wait a minute, anybody can just walk in. So again, it only takes once for this to turn this into a really bad nightmare. So try to your best lock things or have automatic locks. There's also really good these days. There's like a lot of automation locks. These wise locks, especially like these particular ones, just have found to be really good, especially for like even your homes and stuff. Really good. You have to get it installed usually. You give access to your employees instead of giving keys or whatever. You can use these and remove access. Pretty cool. Yeah. Let's keep it going just to get the ball rolling so we get to our stories so people can share with us. I frequently change my most important passwords. As Mike shared, in Google Workspace, there's a way every 30 days to require everybody to change their password. Not just everybody, but yourself. Definitely yourself. When I'm actually on Monday, I'm going to reset my password, and now there's going to be like 70 people, bunch of people that basically need to get the password again. And you just do this just in case the password gets shared or saved to one of your employees' computers and somebody finds it later down the line. They're not going to be able to just log in every month. You'll take freshen things up. So I highly recommend over this weekend or on Monday to change your Gmail password. Go put it into your to-do list, get that done. I will be on Monday. Next is I keep software and systems updated with the latest security updates. Okay, whenever you see those prompts, should I update my things? Yes, you should always click yes. The reason why you get those updates sometimes is for security reasons. There could be a new leak, security leak. And what these companies, they create these updates so that that security leak is prevented before they come and take advantage of it. So always update everything, always. Next is I educate my employees not to click on suspicious links. This was brought up. This is probably the most frequent thing that could happen. Let's talk about that. I know Pankaj wants to talk about that. Let me just give my little spiel. There's a bunch of emails that you could potentially get that are so damn good. I'm pretty savvy, technical savvy. It even happened to me, I remember 3 years ago. It was, they always somehow make it urgency. Something it like just happened, losing money or something just happened and you need to fill this out right now. They always have that. So be on the lookout for that. It's some urgency-based thing. That's one. And then the links, sometimes you have to like really check the links. And it's not just the link that it shows, but it's the links. Let me just try to show you guys what this usually looks like. It's whenever you hover over it, usually Chrome and stuff, they have a little feature that it shows the actual link. So make sure that link is legit. And usually they hide the link. It should be, if it's an Amazon email, it should literally come from Amazon or Amazon.something. It shouldn't come from just random things. It's like different. Just be careful. So that's one thing. Another popular one that I've seen is an email that's coming from Facebook, and it's a Facebook link. It's a legit Facebook link. When you click on that, it goes to like a Facebook page or a Facebook group or something. And then in that is the hidden link, is the malicious link. So it's like hidden in links. And just be careful. Attachments is a huge one. Don't download any random attachments, even though it shows that it's legit. Be careful. You got to know the person. It's a person you don't know. That's one. Another one is, I remember this happened to, I'll share a story. It happened to my one of my mentors' companies. Was somebody hacked their entire emails and they sent out a blast of emails to all the vendors that they were working with. And they said, hey, to all their clients, said, hey, we have a new bank account for this month's payment. Please send it to this bank account. And then there was a droves of their clients who made payments to this new bank account. And the company wasn't aware that these emails were sent out. And all these angry clients made these payments to this obscure random bank account. And now they're like, we paid you. Like, we didn't get your payment. And they found out that they were hacked, that these emails were sent out with like this erroneous bank information. And all these, literally their clients, like a bunch of their clients, dozens of clients lost tens of thousands of dollars of money. And now the question is, who's at fault? Well, it came from an email inbox. So most likely probably the company's fault. So very crazy, but be very cognizant of it. And also tell your employees, just remind them, hey, be very careful. These things are going on. Don't click on any links or attachment, download any attachments if you're not sure what it is. Next, I dispose of confidential information securely, such as by shredding paper documents, speaks for itself. And very important is you make sure they have legal malpractice insurance. Some states require it. Hopefully it should be required. It should be something that I think everybody should have. So make sure that you have legal malpractice insurance with enough coverage. A lot of people miss this part, okay? The more, the merrier. You never have enough. If anybody has any idea or if anybody is an insurance guru, let me know. From what I understand, I think like 400,000 to $1 million or something. 400,000. I don't know what I remember when I got advised about this, but have enough basically, or go double or whatever you have. Or if you don't know what it is, go ask how much you have and find out what that is. And from what I know, at least from what I remember, like 400,000 to like something in $1 million makes sense for most of us. Cool. So that's my spiel. Again, if any of these, we want to check off as many of these as possible. If something is missing, circle it. When are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? So over time, try to do your best to do as many of these as we can.